Hello, this is Captain Chaudhary. Today I am going to speak about RPS agencies, Recruitment and Placement Services agencies. There is a lot of coverage about RPS agencies in New Merchant Shipping Act, and Old Merchant Shipping Act did not cover much about RPS agencies. Of course, we had the MS rules in respect of RPSL, but here in section 62, the first paragraph is very important. And it says that the seafarer will be appointed on the ship or engaged on the ship only by an RPS agency, Recruitment and Placement Services agency, and nobody else. And in case of Indian ship, those people who are employed on the Indian ship or engaged on Indian ship, they can be engaged by the owners of these Indian ships who own the ships, and they will be able to recruit the people on the ships which are owned by them. That means if somebody joins a ship somehow by some route which is getting them on the ship, bypassing these RPS agencies or the owners in case of Indian ships, then his service on that ship will not be considered as valid, and he might even lose his certificate. So what we conclude is the Indian ship owner in respect of their own ship, other than Indian owners in respect of their own ships, nobody else can recruit the people on the ship unless they have the appropriate license to do that. So there is RPSL, Recruitment and Placement Services license. That license has to be there. Any person shall not engage any person on board unless he's got continuous discharge certificate and the identity document, unless there is some exception and a person is allowed to join the ship. It specifically stated that any person shall not demand or receive any kind of remuneration from a person who is joining the ship. I mean, he cannot say that because he is providing the employment on the ship, he should not demand any kind of money, or he should not say that in case you want any training, in case you want any learning on the ship. As we say, you have sometimes structured shipboard training. So in lieu of providing the training on the ship, a person cannot demand any kind of money. The only kind of money which a seafarer must spend is on, like in case there is any process fee for acquiring the CDC or identity document or any travel document. I'm not talking about travel fare, travel document, right? But if you talk about the visa is to be provided by the ship owner. Otherwise, if you talk about traveling expenses, you talk about any protective gear which is given, boiler suit, etc., which is given to the seafarer, none of these things will require any money to be paid. The person should not discriminate between the seafarers, saying that a particular seafarer belongs to a particular union, so give importance to that person. No bias to be exercised when the people hail from they can be a party to different unions. I mean, that's not a problem, but there will be no discrimination in respect of employment. At the same time, there are seafarers coming from various institutes, various parts of India. You will have no discrimination in respect of a person coming from a particular institute has to be favored, nothing like that. Central government may pass an order, they might prohibit that no ship owner, agent or the master would appoint any person on the ship. I mean, this is not applicable for the Indian ship owners, whereby they own the ship and employment is in respect of that ship itself. But otherwise, there might be an order that is passed that the master ship owner or agent will not engage any person on the ship, and this might be keeping in mind the national interest. I mean, if there is any concrete reason to believe that this should be done to protect the national interest, this will be done. Now, if any person joins the ship, in contravention of what has been said above, that who is required to engage and who's authorized to engage a seafarer on board, in contravention of that, whether Indian ships or the foreign ships, then that person will not be able to earn the sea time which otherwise he can earn on the ship, or the training experience. As far as the requirement of examination is concerned, for any particular examination he needs the sea service on board ship. That will not be counted because he had joined the ship by an alternate method which is not provided for in the act. Also, a person who is joined in this way, he may be liable to withdrawal, suspension or cancellation of the certificate by DG shipping. But once again, the standard procedure that is followed before you cancel, suspend, etc. of anyone's certificate of competency or proficiency, you always give him a fair chance. You give the seafarer a fair chance, like before you want to cancel or suspend his certificate. Every recruitment and placement service agency must ensure that whenever people join ship, whenever the seafarer are supplied to a ship, the ship owner, it should be ensured that the ship owner is able to repatriate the abandoned seafarer, right? Not only that, when the abandoned seafarer is repatriated, he is given due maintenance and the medical care if necessary before the repatriation. It is the responsibility of RPS agencies. In case of death of a seafarer, the mortal remains are transported back. Then it is also the responsibility of RPS agencies that the labor conditions on board, the work conditions, the safety at work, etc., the hazards which can be caused, what is the prevention, what is the precaution in respect of those hazards. That means the work condition of a seafarer on board, they are as provided in the Seamen's Employment Agreement. Then, if there is any incident causing injury, death, disappearance of a person, etc. on board, then the report should be made within 24 hours to an officer who is appointed in this respect. It is also the responsibility of the RPS agencies that whenever seafarers are placed on board, the report is made to the authority in the prescribed manner within the prescribed time as has been stated in this respect. If there are any changes means if there are any changes in respect of the conditions which were told to the seafarer, subsequently if there is any change, any amendment, even that change has to be informed, intimated to the required authority in the prescribed time, in the prescribed manner. So they are very strict about it. That means when seafarers are placed on a ship, there is a prescribed form, in which the report is to be made to the DG shipping. And if they do not do that in time, they are liable to lose their license. In addition to all this that I told you about the RPS agencies, they would also do any other duties, or they will also accept the other responsibilities which have been placed on to them. Section 63(1) is a very important information that has been stated in respect of engagement of a seafarer. It says that the master, the ship owner in respect of Indian ship, or RPS agency in respect of Indian or a foreign vessel can enter into an agreement with the individual seafarer, and the copy of that particular agreement is to be sent to the shipping master.